this because there's going to be a lot in this. So if you don't mind, then I can send it to you, and then we can go over it. You can go over it
Yeah,
at your
sure,
leisure
no worries.
later. So recording always good. I do it with every time I do something. Just a good habit. But I always check. Some people don't like to be recorded. They're shy or whatever. I don't know. So just want to be sure.
It's
All right.
okay.
So let me.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me
It's
let me
fine
bring
with me. Don't worry.
it. It's what? Say again.
It's fine with me. Don't worry about it.
Ah, good, 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 good. All right. So I'm sharing in this introduction. I'm sharing my larger universe that I live in, and then the specific part that I'm going to be sharing coming. It's probably going to take the whole year to do this. It's a big deal what I'm doing, and especially the way I'm doing it. I mean, just look at that. Freedom from anxiety and worry. I don't know, that must have what we've been doing it for, probably like, I don't know, 6 months, 4 months. I don't know how long, but months. And that's a small, very small
Yeah.
course relative to this. But it's just the way I do things. I like to go into the moreness of things. So I'll share screen, and then I'll explain as I go along. Uh, so
Okay.
so we're looking at the slide here. Let me make it full screen. The way of expansion, the way of impeccability, self-expansion, moreness project. And what this is, it's the extra, the more that comes after doing way of impeccability. Way of impeccability is the core program of everything that I do. Now I want to emphasize that even
Okay.
though what I'm going to be sharing is set up as a program, I'm not going to be sharing it specifically as a program. If somebody wants to do it as a program, they're more than welcome to. But I'm going to be sharing it as me reading the story of it, right? And doing a capital R reading, which is going into depth, looking at all the implications, the connections, etc. Right? So I'm sharing. I'm not
Okay.
really doing the course. I'm sharing, right? So it's a little different. I mean, that's how the freedom from anxiety and worry. That's kind of how it ended. I was just sharing. When I started, there were people doing it, and they came and they did their repeat backs and takeaways and the way I ever do the dictionary of power and all that stuff. But if somebody wants to do that, they can. But it's not my focus. My focus is purely sharing here and bringing this.
Yeah.
It's a vision that I'm sharing, a vision of how to be or how we could be, what alternatives they are. And it's a vision that connects to what's in our deepest hearts, our goodness. You'll see. You'll see. So this is just to put it into context. It's a lot because there's a lot of context. So this is the Moreness project. You see, there's these three sections, right? Section 1, foundation. Section 2, which is what we're going to be doing, at least a part of it. And then section 3, which is just detail, right? So this is part of my grander Moreness project. So I skipped one. So section 1 is the foundations, which of course is, we've already done way of impeccability, but also we need to understand the psychology of superiority paradigm, self-trust, hearing and helping, attentive attuning, all of these things, perspective shifting. These are the foundations. Now, for many people like, sure, we've already done this, but it's not necessary for what I'm going to be doing, right? It's useful, it's helpful, but it's not necessary. Yeah, this is what we're going to be doing. Section 2. Nobleness, nobility, noble. Now, of course, when I say nobleness and nobility, this has nothing to do with titles and hereditary and all of that nonsense, right? That's all complete rubbish, right? We're talking about truly being noble, the quality of nobleness, right? And the new nobles,
Ethics.
yes, beyond the ethics even, right? Nobleness is bonus goodness. Yes, ethics is involved in it. And yes, ethics is a very, very good closest point to it, because ethics is, well, it's kind of optional. It shouldn't be. If you live according to way of impeccability, then ethics is not optional. But like in business, ethics is optional. Most people don't realize that. But nobleness is bonus
Exactly.
goodness, right? So it's not necessarily ethically pressing on us, but we do it because we want to, because it's our thing, it's our inner predilection, right? It's our moreness. So and this, the new nobles, this is the title of book 1 of a book series. The series is called the Biala series. Book one is called the New Nobles, and it's a big story, and we're going to really get into it. And it shows, gives this society that is based on nobleness, that revolves around nobleness, and how they, of course, apply way of impeccability, attunement, all of these magical concepts. And then maybe we'll get to capital diplomacy. I doubt if we'll ever get to the young man story. This is more on the psychology of alternative psychology and moreness, and just a real in-depth there. But anyway, we're going to focus on this first one here, the New Nobles, right? On this profound story. And this is I'm just giving an overview of the Moreness project, what it is. We've done some of this, freedom from anxiety and worry, and I've shared feeling and believing, I think, and all of this. But this is detailed, specific stuff. Like I was saying in the live, I said this is the equivalent of, we are going to be focusing on how to enjoy your car, and these programs are more like how to change your tire, how to change your oil, how to tune your spark plugs, whatever, right? So this is like detailed stuff that is not. I want to move past that. This is like elementary stuff. I want to get into the moreness stuff, right? The real profound stuff, which you don't see anywhere. So what we are going to be doing, yeah, this is the heart and soul of it now. So the purpose of this Moreness project is application, implementation, entrenchment, exemplification, exploration, confirmation, extension, and creation of all which comprises you. That means you, Ramzi, means you. Yes. We are going to be doing all this.
Okay.
And please interrupt me anytime, jump in, ask a question, make a comment. This is how we do. Yeah. It's
Sure, no
interactive,
worry.
collaborative. Right. We're learning how to think, perceive, discern, perspective shift, zoom out, sophisticate, multi-layer, morify, impute, implicatify, deliberate, explore, and more. Yeah. So we're going to be doing really profound things. We're going to be very sophisticated here. We're going to be taking moreness to the nth level. We're going to go all the way as far as we can go with moreness. Yes. And so we're going doing
Okay.
all of these things because this is very important. Yes. Very profound concepts here. And you see, I've utilized some words that you don't normally see, like sophisticate and morify and implicatify. Perfectly valid to do so. This is how language works. You have the freedom to put a core concept and add a prefix or a suffix to it. In other words, you can make words, right? It's part of language.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very interesting on language, just to go a little bit sideways here. Language is one of the few things that are truly democratic, because this is how language comes to be. Everybody decides, and essentially decides through usage. They voting that the word has validity, right? So the word cool. I mean, I use this word all the time. When I was a little kid, the word cool didn't exist except to say something is either hot or warm or cool. It was, related to warm. You got hot and cold, warm and cool. It didn't mean
Exactly.
like really nice, exciting, wonderful, more. It didn't mean that, right? That came from the 60s. Yeah? And then it came to be. But it came to be part of language because everybody decided that cool is a cool word to add to language. They essentially voted on it through usage, right? So this is why it's a democracy. And of course, there are other words like gay. When I was young, gay meant light-hearted, fresh, lively, innocent, pure. It didn't mean homosexual, right? It had a different meaning. Today, you never hear the word gay used what it meant when I was a kid, right? It's fallen out of favor. So things get voted in to be changed, and they get voted out as well. Language is a true democracy. It's very powerful. So you, as an
Yeah.
individual, are free to make up any word you like. Nobody can say, oh, you can't do that. You can. Only in French can you not, because French is owned by the French government, which is very interesting, isn't it? Yeah, French language
Exactly.
is actually owned by the French government. So you can't say, I'm going to make up some word and call it French. No, you can. That's your, but you can't call it French. It's not allowed. But in English or
Yeah.
any other language, you can make up words. Now, You can make it up. That doesn't mean that it's going to be a part of the language. That gets decided by usage, right? If it gets used enough, your word catches on, fine, it becomes a word. So who knows? More like moreness. This is a word that I never saw before I started using it. Yeah. And you say, but moreness, what do you mean moreness? It's not a new word. I've heard this word before. Yeah. Well, that's a word I put out there, at least if you're in the group. And yeah. So moreness is becoming part of the language. Okay, it's my contribution to the English language. Yeah, so we can add to the language. It all depends how much people use it. So yeah, it's really fascinating. I love this, that language is a true democracy. It's quite fascinating, and in that has its pluses and its minuses. Which sometimes people mess up the language. And they get it all makes no sense. But oh well, what can you do? Things that are self-contradictory. But anyway, that's a different story. All right, so we're going to be learning how to, let me get back to the screen sharing, right? We're going to be doing lots of moreness. And this concept of moreness is very profound. But very specifically, Ramzi, we'll be focusing intensely on your exquisiteness of being, which is already you, finessing our way to deliberate access. Now, yeah, I want to go over just that little paragraph right there, just that one sentence, and to share just how layered what I am doing is. There's a lot in just this one sentence, right? First of all, we'll be focusing intensely on your exquisiteness of being. So what are you talking about? So what exquisiteness of being? I'm just like a typical ordinary guy, or like me. I'm kind of wild and I'm a bit rough. What are you talking about exquisiteness of being, right? So okay, well, all right, I'll just see what that means here. But from my perspective, Ramzi, I see the exquisiteness of being in others, even when they don't yet see it themselves. This is a skill I've developed all my life. And everybody in their deepest secret heart knows they have more. Yes, knows they are more, and knows there is a potential exquisiteness of being that is inside them, right? They may not acknowledge it, they may be uncomfortable acknowledging it, but like I said, in their deepest secret heart of hearts, they know it's there. I want to connect to that and bring it out and give it scope where it can come out, where it's appropriate for it to come out, where it's okay for it to come out, where it's comfortable to come out, right? Where it gets celebrated and exercised. But I'm saying also that exquisiteness of being, which is already you. This is a very, very profound philosophical and psychological perspective to take. I'm not saying it's something you have to develop. I'm stating, I'm making this, setting it up as a hypothesis here, or as a fact almost, that I feel, I believe from my perspective, that exquisiteness of being is already there. It simply needs to be watered. It's like the seed. It's there. It just needs to be opened. It needs to be uncovered. It needs to be given space to breathe, to spread its wings. Yeah, it's already there, right? And then this powerful. Now, if you're keeping a dictionary of power, you want to add exquisiteness of being. Of course, you want to add a bunch of those terms before, like moreness and sophisticate and all that. But moreness particularly, but exquisiteness of being definitely go into a dictionary of power, and also deliberate access. We have so much moreness in us, but we can't necessarily deliberately access it. So we want to have this concept, this idea of deliberate access, very important. It's going to be a thread throughout everything we do. We want to say, I want to have this deliberate access to all my moreness, to my exquisiteness, all my variation, all my surprise, all my inspiration, all my potency, my moreness. Yes, I want to have this. Yeah. So deliberate access, very, very, very important point. Like I also teach writing, and through the writing, I say, just my rule number one for writing is write ugly, edit pretty. Yeah, that's it. Write ugly. When you start to
Yeah,
write
exactly.
ugly, you just write whatever comes, and very soon you discover, I never even thought of that. Wow, I didn't have any idea this was going to come, but it came. So where you start is not where you end. And when you start writing, your moreness automatically comes out. And you know what? If you actually try to write badly, it's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult to do. You can start a little bit, but you can't sustain it because we have a part of us automatically that just keeps updating and upgrading and adding to it. But we need to make space for that. And when we write ugly and say it's okay to write crap, and through the crap we say what we don't want, and when we know what we don't want, it encourages what we do want, and then the brain starts anyway. It's a magical process. Don't get into editing mode because that's a different brain, right? That you got to do later, right? But when you write ugly, moreness comes, and you end up writing really magical stuff. Whenever I write an article, and people that I know too, they will always tell you, I had this idea in my head, I started writing, and then by the time I got to the end, it was all different, right? You know this, yeah? Where you start is not where
Exactly.
you end. Yeah. I mean, I can have the whole thing in my head all perfectly worked out, but I try and write it down. No, never happens like I imagined it, right? Even though it was really
Yeah,
perfect. So this
exactly. This
deliberate
is how I wrote my books.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to have that trust, right? And it's to have
Yeah.
deliberate access, though. So we're going to learn the tools to deliberately access that moreness that you already know is there. And through writing, you have a way to have it come out. But we're going to not only do this with writing, but with everything, right? In our entire way of being. So exquisiteness will be our emphasis. We're going to connect and relate absolutely everything in this moreness project to exquisiteness, to your exquisiteness. Yours, Ramzi. Yours, yours, yours. I'm just keeping an eye because I'm expecting somebody to come by and pick something up. And I
Yeah,
heard
no worries
a
at all.
I heard a notification there. So yeah. So I think this is them. That's just. Or did they drive past? I heard a vehicle. Oh, all right. Let me go outside. Anyway, we can keep talking though.
Yeah, no worries.
Because I'm on a yeah. All right. I'll be in a second. But this point
No
of
worries.
your
Take your time.
exquisiteness, Ramsey, this point of your exquisiteness, this is very important. This is very, very, very important. Oh no, it wasn't the person I'm expecting. It was one of my
Oh,
neighbors. All right, no problem, no problem. That's
no
why I have
worries.
a wireless Bluetooth mic, you see, so that I can walk about and do things like this. I love multitasking, Ramsey. I love multitasking. And not only
Yeah,
multitasking, but multi-layeredness. Oh, I just adore multi-layeredness. And all that I'm going to be sharing is really exquisitely multi-layered, as you see already, right? There's many, many layers to it all. And I love that multi-layeredness. It's very, very powerful. Fine.
yeah, we are
Uh,
all in the same basket.
you say again?
We are all in the same basket. Basically,
Exactly.
I'm busy all the time with anything. I can't stand not doing anything and sitting down.
Exactly.
So I'm always,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. There's always more. There's always more. It's a refrain. You'll see it comes into the story later. You'll see the origin of it. But there's always more. It's a very powerful. It's a philosophy. This philosophy of moreness. It is a very profound philosophy. It's a really big deal, as you'll see. So celebrating your exquisiteness, our exquisiteness, is our initial awareness, not the only awareness of exquisiteness we'll connect to, but the initial one. Application of exquisiteness will be the fulcrum point of this entire moreness project. We're going to leverage that celebration into detailed implementation and deliberate usage. So we are going to really learn and make this effort and connect to the application of exquisiteness and having a detailed implementation of exquisiteness and its deliberate usage. We're going to learn to be deliberately exquisite, which is a very, very, very powerful thing. Yes, very, very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. I have to stand up to see outside. That's why I'm standing up now.
no
Whenever
worries
I
at
hear
all.
something. All right. What does this precisely mean for our exact behaviors and beingness? We'll be implementing how to be exquisite through connecting all the content to you specifically and individually via this intent, and also doing so collectively. Now, this is written for somebody who's doing the program, of course, because it's harder for me to connect it individually if you're not doing the program. If you're just participating like you like just in watching the sessions. But it doesn't matter though. Even through the occasional comment, it allows me to connect and implement individually, right? So that's why the comments make such a big difference. Yeah. But mainly my intent here, uh, yes, I love connecting individually, but my focus, my core intent is to put this out into the world, what I'm sharing. I've been holding it on, I've had it in me for so long already. As well, you know what? Let me just put it out there, and that's it. Right? And so I'm going to go share an alternative way of looking at this, right? An alternative perspective. What we'll be doing is an utterly preposterous endeavor in the usual scheme of things, as we are going to be making the believed to be, and typically so, impossible possible. This is a thoroughly grand undertaking for which we currently feel woefully underprepared and unqualified, as is appropriate psychologically for an aspirant. Now, you see, aspirant is a capitalized term here, and it will come in later in the story that I'm going to be reading, doing the capital or reading of and sharing. This term, this concept of aspirant is a very powerful term, because we are going to be connecting to our deepest aspirations, those we don't even typically acknowledge, even to ourselves, but we are going to make this effort to acknowledge them. We're going to create a space in which our deepest aspirations are okay to share, right? Because generally in the world, we don't have space for that. Our aspirations are not viable to share in general, right? We can get ourselves into trouble for sharing them in the wrong environment. So we're going to share those and connect to them. It's a very big deal. This being an aspirant too, the psychology of being an aspirant comes in very powerfully, as you'll see later on, right? And again, to just ask, I don't know. I mean, just in terms of where your connectivity is. So please share with me so that I have an idea, right? Whenever you want to know something,
Yeah,
just
sure,
ask. Just ask. When we are
sure.
celebrating, say again, Ramzi.
Yeah, sure. Basically,
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay,
listening now to understand the whole
yeah,
project, and
yeah, yeah.
I'll comment in a while.
Wonderful, wonderful. When we are celebrating and sharing our moreness, we magically bring forth the moreness of others. This is a huge sentence right there, right? When we are celebrating and sharing our moreness, we magically bring forth the moreness of others. I didn't actually go into this and emphasize it in the live, but this is a massive point and one of the foundation stones of the the story, the new nobility, the characters in that story, what they do, particularly the main character. Biela. Biela is the main character. Biela Noble. This is a big deal, and we'll get into this much more. So I'm just touching on things that are going to be explored big time in super detail later. But this is a really profound thing that I'm stating it here, because I know this from experience, right? So again, I'm stating it sort of as I try never to state things as facts that are not necessarily so for people in general. But this is an exception now, a little bit, right? Through this beautiful collaboration, we leverage each other, compounding our exquisiteness. We extract from each other our exquisiteness by deliberately insisting on this focus. Our finesse here, when it comes to exquisiteness compounding and leveraging, is to understand this is a specific, detailed intent we're implementing. I skipped this slide. My mouse is a little old, and sometimes it double clicks on its own, and I think that's what happened here. I skipped the slide, but there's so much here, right?
No one.
Uh, there's so much. We're going to deliberately focus on this exquisiteness, and we're going to compound exquisiteness and leverage it, right? And this is our intent, is to create this community, this environment where we are compounding each other, we are leveraging each other, we are creating a space where our moreness can come out, and through coming out, magically brings forth the moreness of others. Yeah. I mean, it's what I typically try to do whenever I go live or whenever I'm sharing. But now I'm really taking this all the way, right? Very, very powerful. How? By using and being our dictionary of power in a particular way with subtlety, nuance, sophistication, finesse, layeredness, grace, largesse of spirit, and more. Now, many of these concepts will be elaborated on in detail later, like largesse of spirit. Yeah, I did somewhat go into grace a little bit in the live. Um, but we're going to do this. Now, I skipped this whole slide. But the core concepts, everybody has a dictionary of power. They might not write it down, but they have core ideas, beliefs, ideologies, which are important to them. Like honesty, for instance. Many people, like you said, ethics before, integrity. And this is, if you ask people, say, well, if you had a dictionary of power, would that be in a dictionary of power? Well, yeah, duh. See, so we have it, but it's not so specific. It's not focused on. I just make that effort to focus on it. But what we're going to be doing, the story though, is is an exemplification of this, right? By using and being our dictionary of power. And whether you and I have a written down one or not, this is how we are going to be doing this exquisiteness compounding, right? By bringing this forward, bringing it out. So we're going to be connecting to all of this. Just a really powerful thing. Yeah, I did skip that slide. Wow. Okay, that's kind of a big deal. Well, anyway, I'll bring it up next time. I'll think it.
Yeah,
We'll
no worry.
this next sentence is just one huge sentence. We'll start by implementing the essential necessity of capital R receptivity, which is at core profound love. That's a massive, massive philosophical statement that I'm making there. Very profound thing, right?
Very
And
true.
again, I'll be going into capital R receptivity in detail later on. What exactly it is, how it works, there's a whole story around it. It's a massive big deal. And also how it connects to, which is at core profound love, right? A profound love for purpose, for process itself, capital P process, for the journey, the path, the adventure, the exquisite magic, and most of all for ourselves, that greater self, which is comprised of more than one and is one, capital O1. This profound love is based on deep, deep respect and trust of moreness, our collective moreness. Yeah. So this is, I mean, this slide here has so much in it. It's just huge, huge, huge slide. I mean, particularly this understanding that I'm coming from things from a philosophical, ideological perspective that says we have a greater self. And that greater self is comprised of more than one. In other words, I have my patient side, I have my tolerant side, I have my generous side, I have my stubborn side, I have my prideful side. Right? All of those comprise me. They're all different sub personalities make up my greater self. There's my subconscious, my unconscious, my about to be conscious, my not yet conscious. There's many different consciousness, all part of my greater self. But I'm also saying, right, my greater self is more than one parts put together. And it is also capital O one. Yes. So to
Sure.
say I am also, my greater self is also really what is the one. So, wow, this is a huge, huge philosophical, ideological point that I'm making here, right? It's a very profound connectivity. So now we get this profound love is based on deep, deep respect and trust of moreness. Respect and trust of moreness, our collective moreness. This is a massive big deal, massive big deal, massive big deal, right? To insist that our collective moreness is something that is really, really, really profound. Yep, uh, man, yeah, here we go. Okay, okay. It's all right, dogs. It's all right. They're just saying hello. Is that you, Benny? Ah, brilliant. Ah, brilliant. They won't eat you. They won't eat you. No worries, man. No worries. Here we go. There we go. There we go. This is it. It's all in there. It's all in there. What did you pick up there? Ah, right. Ah, right, right. Yeah, this is very cool. You see how compact it is, and it's a 750 watts, which is unusual to have it that high. You normally see them like 120, maybe 250. This you can run like really powerful stuff. on from this. So what is nice too, you can connect it directly to the batteries, and then also plug it into the cigarette lighter. So yeah, you can run your computer off this or whatever, TV stuff like that. So right, exactly. So it's very cool, man. And you're in, what's that? Oh, I should have some change. 24. Yeah, I got change for you. Hang on. Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. No worries. I'll be there in a minute, Ramsey. Yep,
Yeah, no
yep.
worries.
I know you. I love you. You like me, man. We roll with things, and we have tolerance, and we just whatever is appropriate, right? Appropriateness is the
Exactly.
core philosophy underneath everything that I do. It is a very profound philosophy that's there in everything. All right. So,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, it is.
it's a very big deal indeed. It's a very big deal indeed. Okay. One, two. Okay. So there's six so far. I'll find you a 10 in a second. I hope I have a 10 in here somewhere. I don't know if I do or not. All right. Never mind. Never mind. It's okay. I have it. Yeah. I might take you up on that lottery ticket. Okay. One, two, three, four. I did win the lottery once. Yeah. Yeah. A really big one, but I never collected. It's a long story. It's a long story. Well, because I got six out of the seven numbers, and I just was new to the country, and I don't have lottery where I come from, so I didn't know. I just thought, well, there's one winner. That doesn't tell you on the ticket anywhere. So I didn't know. So all right, man. There you go. There you go. There you go. Yes. Yeah. So it should all be there, and just check it. Just make sure I got it right. You're very trusting. It's not about trust. It's just about making sure I didn't make a mistake. But I think I got it right. So, all right, very cool. Enjoy the thing. I'm on Zoom at the moment, Benny. So on Zoom, it's like it's an app where you can video connect and audio connect. Yeah, yeah. So, all right, very cool, man. Enjoy. All right, bye, bye, Benny. Bye, bye. Very cool. Very
Hello.
cool. Sometimes the world touches my heart, Ramsey. Sometimes the world just touches my heart. Uh, Sometimes people are just, I call them innocent. It comes in the story. There's a
Yeah,
very profound chapter, right? But innocent, it's hard to pronounce. It's with a T, right? Not the C,
yeah,
right? It's the person who has innocence as a core part of their being is an innocent, right? With a T on the end, right? And this individual is one such. Yeah. Another way of maybe uh, understanding them is lost soul. Sometimes some people are just
exactly.
they're just lost in the
There are
world,
so many types. Yeah, some people complicate their lives for nothing, still,
Right,
basically.
right. But this is, yeah, that's a different aspect of
Life,
it. But some people, life is just more complicated for them simply because of who they are. They have so much innocence and naivety and cluelessness that it's not a fault of theirs, it's just who they are, and really, it's a very big deal. So I feel for such people very deeply, and it's a big part of the story that we're going to be sharing when we get into the story part of it. It's a very big deal. All right, so to get back to our
yeah,
slides here and the sharing of it, so we don't lose where we at here, right? We're going to be implementing this capital R receptivity and this profound love for purpose and process and journey and the path and connecting to our greater self and this oneness, right, that we all are. we're going to be celebrating, respecting, and trusting our collective mourners. To respect and trust our collective mourners, just there, just what I'm saying there is so kind of radical in a way. It just blows my mind. It's just like a huge deal. Make this full screen again. So yeah, okay. So that's all done and taken care of. Okay, very good. Yeah, just got to follow up. So what we, this is a summation quote, and I bring quotes into what I do to give that overview perspective, that grand abstract to connect it to the ineffable. So we are going to be making space for mourners to infuse. And this word infuse is very exquisitely used here and chosen. It's very specific, very deliberate, right? We're going to make space for mourners to infuse, not making space to connect to mourners, to get mourners, to acquire mourners, to touch mourners. No, for mourners to infuse. Yes. You drink tea, I'm assuming, Ramzi?
Sorry,
I say you drink tea
I
or you're
didn't get
familiar
you.
with tea.
No,
Yeah.
basically, I drink coffee more than tea.
All right. All right. Well, at least, have some idea. If you drink coffee, you know what tea is. But tea or
Yeah,
coffee
exactly.
too, right? If you truly make coffee and you're really into your coffee, you've got to get the coffee to infuse itself into the hot water. Yes.
Yeah, get infiltrated basically inside of you.
Exactly. But infiltrate is a very particular word. It's infuse is that absorption, that connectivity, and that sharing of the coffee in the grounds, in the bean, the moreness that's there. It needs to infuse into the water, not just touch the water, because when you just touch the water, you have poorly made coffee and it doesn't taste so good, right? But when it gets infused, there's extra that comes in. There's that deepness, the moreness that's coffee that's not only flavor. Coffee is more than just flavor, right? You need to get the juice of it. You need to get that boost of the energy and the moreness, right? So it's very powerful. So coffee, tea, same thing. You need to infuse these in order to get that. We're looking for the same thing to
Like
happen with moreness.
like osmosis, basically. Like an
Uh, y-
osmosis.
yes,
Yeah,
more than osmosis. Infusion is more. It has some part of osmosis to it. Yes, but osmosis is a particular kind of infusion. If we get really specific, but to infuse, there's not really a synonym for infuse because it's a process to infuse. It's something that happens over time. And something that you've got to make space for it to happen. You can't rush your coffee, you can't rush your tea. It happens when it happens. You can't force it, right? So this is very powerful. That's why I'm
exactly.
saying this word is so exquisitely used here. It's very, very, very powerful. So these quotes, I mean, to understand everything that's about to come, that's all you need to remember is we're making space for mourners to infuse. That's all there is to it, really, right? So these are tasks and exercises. If anybody wants to do them, if they want to do the program of their own accord, yeah, they can. And I have that in the right space now. Yeah. So again, this is optional, if you want to or not. And while I was going through this, Cher was because Cher's doing this and actually doing this. She says just something that popped out of her, not to hope for things, but to be curious. Because when we hope, we assume we know what to hope for. But mourness is exactly setting aside what we believe we should hope for. Yeah. We want to make space for mourners. That's beyond our hopes and wishes because those are limited. Yeah. And we want to set those aside and be curious because we know there's more than we think we know. There's more than we believe we know. Yeah. This is essential to the philosophy of mourners. And we are going to be sharing lots, which isn't part of our typical awareness, understanding, ideology, beliefs, expectations, etc. So very, very powerful stuff. Very, very powerful stuff. I just added this in because all my programs and all my things they living. They adapt as they go on. They're not static, right? So I add stuff in all the time. It's very cool. So this is just, if you want to do this, what are your expectations? What is your intent? What are your wishes and hopes and desires? And that's where that could come from. I don't want to have hopes or desires or wishes. I want to be curious. So very powerful. So again, I will ask questions which might be kind of the response really is not what the question seems to be, like the very opposite of it, or very different. And here we come to the end. Step on through the dawners to mourners. Again, playing with words. Um, so yeah, this is it. It's the dawners to mourners that we're doing. Well, it's very cool. And to again to re-emphasize, I'm sharing a vision, this vision of nobleness and nobility and being noble and exquisiteness and deliberate access and beingness, right? Being exquisite and being an aspirant, all of these things. It's a vision of a different way of living, a different understanding of how life can be and could be, and maybe also through that to connect to how it is that we would like our lives to be, our world to be, whether it's the world in the overall, we can only hope, but our private worlds, absolutely, we certainly can do this. Yes, makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, you just started this cell, right? So
Oh
it's
no,
the
no, no.
second
This is
episode today.
oh. The sharing is first one, first
Yeah,
one. Yeah, 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 yeah.
first.
But I thought when you said I just started this, no, this is something that I've had. The
Yeah,
actual content has
since
been
long.
done a long time ago, but the sharing of it, I'm starting now. Correct.
Yeah,
And this is just the introduction that I shared today. But next week
yeah,
I'll start on, well, the introduction to the story, which is, like the introduction. There's a prologue as well. They say as authors, especially when writing novels, don't write prologues and introductions because nobody reads those. Well, too bad. You got to read these. If you don't, you're not going to know what's going on. So, so next week we'll
exactly.
start on the introduction and the prologue, which is quite extensive because it's very detailed. There's a lot to explain. It's just
Yeah,
so multi-layered. So and so many side paths. The Biala series is the core series, but then I've got uh, the Council of the Gods, which is a pre-series. I've got Clara's Class, which is a complete side story. There's the Young Man story, which is an enveloped series, which is its own series of like a half a dozen books, or maybe even more. It's at this point, it's about a half a million words, something like that already. So, but that's integrated into it. And then there's the post series, which so it's a big, huge universe of different stories. My life is, yeah, I say I'm not a rabbit hole. I'm a rabbit warren, right? Which a
yeah,
warren is like a rabbit city, as opposed to a hole, which is a rabbit home. Well, like goes everywhere. So just the way I am, man. I don't know what to say. Just how it is,
yeah. But
expanding.
this is healthy. This is
Yeah.
healthy
Oh
to
yeah.
do
Oh
basically,
yeah.
still, because
Oh yeah.
everything which is inside, you get it out. So
Yeah.
basically, the
Exactly.
way you put it in words and so on, so you don't
Exactly.
get pressure building up inside.
Exactly. And also, I say, what's the point of holding on to it? What am I waiting for? I mean, yes, I can put it out as a book, which I have it started originally as a book, but I rather do it this way because there's so much layeredness, so much nuance, and so much moreness involved in it all. You lose it in a book because you can't explain it all in a book. It'll be too long a book, but in sharing the book this way, and now you can, because once you start doing it, and initially you start to see the thinking, you start shifting your own brain, and then you start to read it differently. And I was saying to Sher, something that's a very big deal. She says, "Oh, this I don't know," and I said the key point with "I don't know" is when you encounter something that you don't know, rather than saying "I don't know," to saying "I want to know," and how can I figure it out? And we can figure
Yeah,
out like words in context. This is how I built up my vocabulary. I made an effort to not look it up in the dictionary until I'd made every effort to figure it out in context, because you almost always can, right? I mean, all words, if you read back, you say, well, what could it mean? what all is the possibilities that it could mean. There's only so much that it could mean, and you can kind of figure it out. Well, okay, dirt sort of means that. Then you go and check, and you say, oh yeah, okay, and you see how it gets used in a creative way, in an alternative way. But you learn to figure out things from context. This is a powerful skill, just one that has to be practiced. We all have this ability. We just need to practice it. So this is part of this exquisiteness. One just simple technique. It's a very specific technique to change I don't know into I'm going to figure it out. And the moment you do that, you automatically start doing it after a while, and it just makes you it just enables your competence and your self-confidence as a result. Very profound, very simple thing. And it lets you see the layeredness and the connectivity. I love your background there behind you and the posters. It's just very beautiful, and the colors of it is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, this is
Wow.
basically a sterling silver board, and it has light behind it.
Hang on, hang on. What is sterling silver? You mean the actual leaves? Oh, I see now. It looked gold because of the light.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, because of the light.
wow, wow. So it's like
But
inlay, like
it
painted
is
silver?
done by laser, and they put some of the leaves they put them in, and some are out.
So
So
they
the
do the
light
laser
would
cut?
reflect on each one. Yeah, yeah, they
Wow.
do them by laser. They cut them
Yeah,
by
so they
laser.
do the laser cut
Uh,
and then fill it in with the silver.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like a big
Wow,
silver ball. Yeah, it's like a
wow.
big silver ball, and they put the design by laser on
Yeah.
it, and you put the light behind it.
Ah, oh, so the light is behind it. I
Yeah,
have a
exactly.
friend that paints paintings, and they just like this, but she does it on the canvas. And when you put the light behind it, it's most incredible. I don't know why this isn't done more. And but you need to have a diffused light, not a bright shining light. It needs to be
Yeah,
diffused light.
exactly.
And we need a particular
exactly.
light in order to bring it out. That's most wonderful. That's most wonderful, Ramsey. How did you come to acquire this?
Basically, I saw it at the place, and before doing the gypsum work, I've purchased it, and basically we installed it. Then we made the gypsum on it next to it. So
Wow.
basically, yeah, yeah, I
Wow,
liked
wow.
very much the design. Yeah,
Yeah, and on the left there, it looks beautiful too, whatever I'm seeing on the left there. I like the whole color scheme is fantastic. I noticed it right away.
yeah.
What's behind you? What's behind you?
Basically, it's an old house. Our house is 200 years old. So
Wow.
basically, yeah, it used to be to my grandfather. So the
Oh,
house
okay.
is an old house, and it has basically too many. It is built by stone, pure stone. Let me show
Wow,
you.
fantastic. Fantastic. You live in a catacomb. Wow.
So
In a castle. I mean, but if you go the other side there, what am I seeing behind you across your shoulder? The not the silver, the other side. Yeah, right behind your head now. Go left, go
right
left,
here,
go left. No, 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 go more left. Well, that too, but
ah,
no, you went past it now. Too far. Uh,
this
it
is
was up on the.
my office here.
Well, show me everything now, and then when I see it, I'll tell you what I was looking at. There. Oh, is it stone?
Yeah,
No, 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 no. Go back again. No, no, no. So go back to the silver, and then go left from the silver. If you put the camera on the
here.
silver. No, no, on the silver. Where's the silver? Yeah, yeah. Oh, so it's stone that I was seeing. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So it is the stone then. Yeah, yeah. You just got to go slower. Yeah. So when it was over your shoulder, it looked like a curtain or something, or another painting or something. But it's just the raw stone. Wow, wow, wow,
No,
wow,
it's
wow.
stone basically. The
That is
house is built
fantastic.
from stone. So
Wow, wow. That's
they
magical.
use
That's
they used to put layers of some ground material and then
yeah,
paint on
yeah,
top of it. So I
yeah, yeah.
removed it. Now
Yeah,
all
like
the old
Adobe.
houses,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So now
Wow,
all the old
wow.
houses they are doing the same. They are
Yeah,
removing
I love the
the
raw
all
stone. It's really cool. It's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as you have
yeah, this,
enough of it in between and on the outside to give you the insulation, because otherwise stones can be very drafty, right?
yeah, but basically it's very thick sill,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
during the summer it's cold inside, and during the winter it gets hot inside.
yeah, yeah,
So the
yeah,
stone
yeah,
is
yeah.
isolates all
Oh,
the
it's
things.
wonderful. Oh, it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. I mean, yeah, you
Yeah, this
living in
is
the earth. Yeah, it's appropriate.
yeah, this is the house in the mountains. We have a house in Beirut in the city, but
Wow.
we have
Wow.
been closing it for 4 or 5 years now
Ah,
because my
Beirut.
father, yeah, Beirut,
Right.
and the electricity here basically is coming like an hour per day or 2 hours per
Oh,
day.
wow. So you
So
have your own
everybody is working.
generators?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
everybody is working on generators, and my father
Mm,
couldn't before he passed away couldn't walk because of his leg, his knee. So
mm.
we stayed here, and we're not going anymore to Beirut.
Yeah, yeah. Beirut, unfortunately, is such a beautiful city, but it's also, got lots of problems, right?
Yeah,
It's
lots
like
of
it's like
problems,
it's
and
like that girlfriend that you want, but when you get her, then what did I do? Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Well, basically,
yeah, yeah,
our politicians here, basically, our politicians here,
yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
made the mess out of the whole country.
Oh, they
Basically,
went into madness. They went into madness. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
it's the only thing that
it's
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, what to do?
Yeah, yeah. It's that superiority paradigm that I was talking about. When it runs
Yeah,
away with itself, you end up with Beirut, you end up with Syria, places like that. When it goes crazy, it because it's not logical and it has no endpoint. It is self-defeating. It's not only self-defeating, but in my book on it, I call it a no possibility of win system. There's no possibility you can win. So it's a self-defeating system in the end. The whole superiority paradigm when you take it to its extreme, and you sadly see the results in Beirut, Lebanon, that whole Middle East there. It's not just in the Middle East; it's all over the show. But you see the extremes of it, unfortunately, in
yeah,
parts of the Middle
exactly.
East.
It's all a big political game. So basically, it's a
Yeah,
game of
exactly.
petrol and
Right.
petrodollar
Exactly.
and so on.
Exactly.
And Lebanon now
Exactly.
basically has a big reservoir of oil and gas. So
Yeah.
basically, everybody wants to take a share on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just greed. Just greed. Yeah, it's sad. It's
Exactly.
sad. But when it breaks down, and the superficiality, the surface is no longer there, and you see it raw and exposed, then you see the mess that it really is. And this is what I am looking to do, not fix the superiority paradigm because it can't be fixed. It's an impossible system. It's flawed. It's broken. You can't fix something that is inherently flawed, right? It's not possible. But what you can do is replace it. So what I'm
Exactly.
going to be sharing is a whole other way of thinking, of living, of being, of wanting, of desiring, of aspiring. You're going to change everything. And core, I didn't mention it yet. It's going to come, we do. Core to what I'm going to be sharing. It's all about motivation, looking at our deepest motivations and looking at every single action, and saying, what is the motivation behind this? This is the core of nobleness, paying attention to motivation. But yeah, in places
Yeah.
like Lebanon, what I'm going to be sharing is so absolutely necessary because people are desperate, because what they have and what they cling to, what they know, doesn't work. And ordinary good people who aren't looking to exploit, they still are in some way part of that system and they don't even realize it. And it's really sad. Yeah. So it messes them up. They lose out by default by
Exactly.
just not knowing. Yeah, it's a very sad thing. So, other than
Yeah.
writing,
Life has put its toll.
exactly,
Life
exactly.
has put its toll on people here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So it's not the
And,
usual.
right. And this to me is an ideal place to say, ooh, we need something radically different. That's profoundly different. That's not just a variation of the same, not an extreme variation, because you're already seeing the extreme variation. It's not working, right? But now we need to take something that's utterly, entirely alternative to this. That's a new paradigm, not just a variation of the existing, a new paradigm. So nobility is a new paradigm. Doesn't have to be nobility, can be many other things, but one of them. So very, very big deal. So I'm keen to know, Ramzi, other than the writing, what else do you do if you do something else, or just the writing?
Well, still, I came back from Kuwait in 2019 to Lebanon. I had a company there, an insurance company.
Ah,
So basically, I established another one, a reinsurance company in Lebanon in 2019.
wow.
After 2 months, basically the banks robbed us our money, so you can't get hold of your money anymore. So
Oh,
I
they locked it
decided
down.
to,
Um,
yeah, they locked it down.
yeah.
So basically, I decided to be focusing on Kuwait. I went back to Kuwait. I was spending 1 month here, 1 month in Kuwait. So
Wow.
after I went to Kuwait, back to Kuwait, and decided to focus on our operations there, they changed all the regulations. So now you must put a big capital and put a
Oh,
Kuwaiti general
yeah.
manager and so on. So they changed all the regulation. So I
Yeah.
decided to close in Kuwait and reopen the freeze company in Lebanon. So now
Wow.
I'm trying to sort it out. Yeah. So
I got
now
you. I got you.
I'm working from home. So we
Yeah.
left the offices here because
All
the
right. Cool.
situation is not. Yeah.
Very
So
cool. Very cool.
I made my office at home, and I'm
Yeah.
operating from home for the time being.
Yeah. Sounds like you may need to start your own bank.
Uh, basically, yeah. If I had
Well,
money, I
I'm
would
really
have done it. But
serious. So many people. Well, it's part of what I'm recommending here now. It's the specific focal point of the underlying abstract overview, which is alternate thinking. To think differently, to be differently. We take for granted. We just, well, a bank. Well, somebody else makes the bank. Why can't you? It's just not part of our thinking. But anybody can start a bank, right?
yeah, exactly. But now the regulations in Lebanon, there
Yeah.
is no regulations because all the banks went bankrupt. So
Yeah.
there are no regulations. You can't get to
Yeah.
establish a bank in the time being because
Right.
they
Right.
want to sort out what to do with the current banks now.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, you can
So
have
I'm
your own private bank, and the only reason for having it is that it enables you to take your funds and connect it to the rest of the banking world. So it's just you're basically joining a highway system, and
yeah
making your own entry onto that. So definitely
yeah
worth looking at.
I'm
But
focusing now more on investing in crypto and
uh,
so on,
yeah,
cryptocurrencies.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is what I'm doing
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
time
yeah,
being.
yeah. And no need to tell you just to
And
be super careful with crypto.
yeah, basically
Yeah,
regulations are coming, and the U.S. are fighting it hard, but
yeah,
it wouldn't die.
yeah,
It wouldn't die
yeah,
because
yeah.
every country basically it's banned. You see people getting more into it. So
Right,
it
right.
is the future of money. But basically,
Yeah,
everything will go digital soon.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
But it's
all
also the
a game.
yeah, yeah. I
It's
mean, the
all a game
downside
of
of go
yeah.
ahead, sorry, go ahead.
It's a game of who's gonna get out of the market
Yeah,
or not.
yeah. Who's gonna break
So
free from
you
it,
will see.
and who can
Yeah,
survive the
exactly.
hackers? Because crypto is also so deeply connected to hacking. So you got to be careful. It
Yeah,
needs
exactly.
exquisite. See, a crypto is a great example of the necessity for exquisiteness in practice. You cannot enter into crypto without being exquisitely careful, right?
Yeah, I'm not getting into crypto as crypto. I'm getting into projects like a crypto first Gulf crypto bank. You know,
Ah,
so I'm investing in this.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
investing in the crypto
right,
itself.
right.
I'm
But even
investing.
so, you need to be exquisitely careful because anything related to crypto can get hacked, and the next thing you know, your bank is hacked, and there goes your bank. So with crypto, you have to absolutely be diversified. Yes, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah.
Exactly. You should put your crypto on a cold wallet. It's like a
Ex-
USB.
exactly.
You,
Exactly.
you take
Yeah.
them off the online. So basically, it
Exactly.
wouldn't be
Exactly.
reachable.
Right. And don't have it all in the same wallet, even have many different wallets, like I said, don't have it all in
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
place. Yeah. Very
True.
important to have it spread out. Yeah. Yeah. Very key.
Yeah.
And this is philosophically what's coming. Part of this Moreness project is precisely that, is to have a greater diversity of awareness, of understanding, of philosophy, of ideals, of abilities, of concepts that we can use. This diversity is what makes us exquisite. It's very powerful. Very, very powerful.
Yeah, exactly. You can't put
Yeah.
all your eggs in one basket.
No, I have seen that literally. It was an anomaly. Anomalies are a very big part of, way of impeccability. I go into anomalies, they're going to come into the story as well. So we had
Yeah.
neighbors that lived very close to us on the property. There was a house, another house, and they moved out, right? And they moved out just overnight. All of a sudden, they were there, and then they were gone, right? So we went in and see, because we could see through the windows, the curtains were there. We could see they'd still left a few things there. And one of the things, so they didn't take all the stuff because I guess they left in a hurry for whatever reason. One of the things they left on the counter, typically stuff that they left were things that you sort of don't really need, that are useless, of no value. But one of the things they left was a wire basket full of eggs. It must have been like 50 eggs in it. And incredible.
Yeah.
Just amazing. It's
Exactly.
like a wire
Now,
basket. It's like, I don't know if you've
yeah.
seen them. They collapse flat, right? And you pull them and they come up like that.
Yeah,
So where
exactly.
the expression comes from, don't put all the eggs in one basket. I was too amazing. And to this day, typically, anomalies like that, they have a deeper meaning. And I got a lot out of it, but I still think there was more. I feel like I missed something there. This was like a message from the universe that I didn't quite fully get all of it. But anyway, it was very cool. That's very cool to
Yeah. If
see
you
all the
if you
eggs in one
visit,
basket.
we have my brother and me are doing now a project. Basically, we're getting chicken and selling their eggs, organic project.
There you go.
And we have a big
Wow.
agriculture land. So basically, agricultural land. So we're
Wonderful.
now planting it all together. So
Wonderful.
you
Wonderful.
must get into some projects here and there to be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to sustain
Diversify.
yourself.
You have to be
Yeah, exactly.
diversified. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
Oh,
one
that's
sector
wonderful.
basically gets
That's wonderful.
yeah,
It's night by you now, right? It's
yeah,
nighttime.
it's now it's 9 o'clock, 10 to
Oh,
9.
okay. Okay. So I would have loved it if you could have gone outside and I could see what it looks like outside. Yeah.
Well, tomorrow I'll send you some pictures
Please. Please,
on what
please.
on
Because you said
Facebook.
you're in the
Uh,
country in Lebanon, and it's I love the world, and I love seeing all parts of the world. I don't think I've ever seen somebody share Lebanese countryside. I don't think I've ever seen this.
you haven't been in Lebanon
No,
before, yeah?
no, I have not. No, no, no. But I've
Yeah,
never seen
yeah. You
anybody
should visit
share.
one.
On the internet, I've seen people share like Russian countryside, or John Cooper, who sometimes comes. He's in Latvia. He shares Latvian country. I've seen from many different places, but I've never seen Lebanese countryside ever, which is fascinating.
Yeah,
Not
I'll
once.
send you some pictures. Basically,
Wonderful.
maybe I'll share with you my mobile number so we
Yeah.
can. You have WhatsApp, right?
I
You
do,
have a
but I don't
WhatsApp.
use it very often. The best way for me to connect is via Messenger, because I
Okay.
always have Messenger up, and Zoom. My Zoom is always up. So you can always just jump on Zoom and say
Yeah.
hello. If I'm busy with somebody, I'll say, come back in an hour. It's not a problem. So, but my Zoom
Good.
is
No problem.
in my daytime, which is, what's the time now? It's 11 o'clock. So I'm in the middle of
7.
my day, more or less now. It's 11 o'clock for me now, or 10 to 11. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Oh,
So my daytime, which is 6 o'clock, or 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock, I've got Zoom up all day long. So always can just jump on and say
Yeah,
hi, but or Messenger. I always have
yeah,
Messenger
sure.
app on. Yeah. So, because
Yeah,
I get lots of messages and stuff, and then I can just stay connected to one thing. Otherwise, I'm jumping. I'm doing so much anyway. My day is so full. It's full, full, full. There you go. You probably heard the sound there. That's somebody messaging me. So,
yeah,
and I gotta go eat. I've been at this all
yeah.
morning now, so I better go and eat. Ramzi, it was very cool going through this with you um, um, on Zoom. I love this, and coming forward, the sharing of this, we're going to be going into exquisite detail here, and I'm not going to pull any punches either. Before I was sort of like, okay, like the freedom from anxiety and worry. I'm talking to people who are in that mindset. No, yeah, I'm talking to the fullness of what I imagine and things can be. So I'm not holding anything back. I'm just sharing it all, which is very fun. It's very cool. So some people are gonna have to catch up a bit, but that's too bad. Just the way it is. I
Yeah,
can't be
exactly.
making it less. Yeah.
All your sessions are very interesting, Sil. So
Thank you.
basically,
Thank you.
I'm pleased to
Yeah.
always join
Yeah.
and
You know,
watch.
I,
But
I,
I
I,
don't know why Facebook this time and last time didn't send me a
I
message
know it,
that
it,
you're
it
going
bothers
live.
me. So a way to help that is when you see my announcement for the event, click going or interested, and then it will give you the notification that it's on now.
Yeah, I just did that. I did it. I
Oh,
put
wow.
interested,
Oh,
but it
wow.
didn't send me
Okay.
any notification.
Oh, you know what? I'll tag you then. But just know going forward that it's 11 o'clock now. So at 8 o'clock, right? In other words, 3 hours
Yeah,
before whatever your time is now, every Sunday, not every Friday anymore. Every
yeah,
Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah, because
So
Friday,
now
some people
it's
said they
Sunday.
were working, and now it's Sunday. Correct. I'll still
Okay,
be on Zoom, and I'll probably do lives on Friday, but on related things. And
different
I'll
matter.
do I'm going to be doing with Sher is doing the program part of it, doing the repeat backs, doing the exercises. And instead of us doing the Zooms privately, we're just going to do them live and people can see it. But that's not, I won't make an event out of it. We'll just come
Yeah,
on, just be there. So bonus,
perfect,
just bonus,
perfect. Okay, I
bonus.
wouldn't take a lot of your time, Sel. You must
It's my
eat, and
pleasure, Ramsey. It's my
it
pleasure. I'm
has
just very
been my
hungry right now.
yeah, it has been my pleasure talking to you.
Yeah,
And you
I
take
love,
care of yourself.
I
We'll keep
really
in
love
touch.
your connectivity, and I have to say I'm very impressed that you are there.
Basically, it's my duty to be there because I like to learn from people and to listen to others basically about their opinions and so on. So
And
this is what interests.
and that
I'm the curious type of guy. So
right,
I
right.
don't say I don't know anything all the time. Basically, if something I don't know, I research it
There you
very
go.
very deeply.
There you go. You
So
see, and that
I
that is extremely impressive to me
so
because
basically
it's not
I
common.
removed all the games and TVs from my life and so on. So I have
Wow,
time to spend my time in a quality manner, not like before. So it's been like for 5 6 years now. I don't
wonderful,
watch TV
wonderful.
or whatever.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's really, really cool. That's really cool. No, I mean,
Perfect.
it's really impressive that to have that attitude, that mindset. It's so uncommon. And this is who I am exactly looking to connect with. Those who want more, who say, I've got a good life, but I want more. Yeah.
The more you
Yeah.
know, the more you know that you don't know.
Exactly. 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 Moreness leads to
Yeah,
moreness. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Very cool.
Okay.
Very, very, very cool. Very cool. I love it, man. I love it. So I look forward to connecting more. And like if you want to come on the Zooms, all right. Sometimes people say, yeah, but if I come on the Zoom, I'm just sitting there with my mouth full of teeth, and I don't have much to say. If that doesn't bother you, you're welcome. Just every now and then jump in or just participate via the comments. Either way, you're welcome both
Yeah,
ways, anytime.
uh, it,
So not a
it
problem.
would
And
be
and
my
you have
pleasure.
that Zoom link is a permanent Zoom link. So
Yeah.
it doesn't change every time. It's a permanent one. So just always use the
Okay.
same one.
Perfect. Perfect.
Fantastic,
We'll
fantastic.
keep in touch, Sil.
Yeah.
And
Oh
tomorrow
yeah.
I'll send
Oh
you
yeah.
the pictures, basically, of the countryside here.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to see that. I'm very keen to see. I'm very keen. I love to learn like you, man. This is learning always. Whenever I meet people, I want to know all the details. Like when, like, the plumber or the electrician used to come to the house when I was a kid, man. I want to know, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I ask them questions like crazy.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I love
I
it. I
have the
love it,
same
man. I like to
curiosity.
know. I like to know. And Lebanon, you hear about Lebanon, but what do people really know about Lebanon? Nothing.
Yeah, basically, it's a small country, and
Yeah,
nobody is interested in knowing more
precisely.
about it
But I am.
because,
But I am. But
yeah,
I am.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
basically,
being
rare
a,
are the
yeah,
people. Yeah,
yeah,
because it's a turmoil
exactly.
place here, So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
politics, and we have Hezbollah here, and
Right. All that stuff.
anti-American
Yeah,
movement. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's a big
yeah,
mess.
yeah, yeah,
So it's
yeah,
better
yeah.
not to get a lot involved. All
Yeah, exactly. But still, it's not so much the politics. Yes, this I see. But Lebanon, the people. I'm originally from South Africa. Yeah, and the
yeah,
difference between the politics and the people was a completely different thing. All that apartheid and that was a small section. It wasn't the real people. So I understand the difference between what really is and the real people and the politics and the nonsense. Two different things. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So I like to know the people, and that's why I want to see the countryside too. And
Yeah,
it's
sure.
like,
Tomorrow
yeah.
I'll send you some pictures.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. All right, Ramsey. See you tomorrow,
Okay,
or see the
perfect.
pictures
Thank,
tomorrow. We'll connect. We'll connect as we go through
sure.
things. I
Thank
love
you
it.
so
Bye
much,
bye.
Sil. We'll
Super
keep in
pleasure,
touch.
man.
Bye.
Super pleasure. Super pleasure.
My
Bye bye,
pleasure.
Ramsey. Bye bye. Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Wonderful. Wonderful.